What it do, YouTube, man? It's your boy, Janky. Right, before we get started, bro, this video is sponsored by UNDERDOG. And also, keep watching if you want a chance to win some PlayStation cards and Xbox. I'm not trolling. NBA playoffs is around the corner. And with their pick'em game, you can win money by making picks on your favorite players. You can win up to 1,000 times your money just by picking higher or lower on player stats like points, threes, assists, and much more. UNDERDOG is available in 30 states, including California, Texas, and Missouri. UNDERDOG is the place to play. So sign up and deposit now using promo code Janky to get up to 1,000 bonus credit and a gimme pick. And also, if you guys use code Janky on UNDERDOG, bro, me personally, I'm going to keep giving away Xbox cards and PlayStation cards off my tab. What it do, YouTube, man? It's your boy, Janky. Ronald, coming back at y'all with another reaction video, bro. Now look, another rare occasion of me, you know what I'm saying, doing a reaction off stream, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to bro. And if y'all don't know where I be at majority of my time, man, we be turning up on Twitch, Janky Rondo, where we do collabs with NFL players, NBA players, etc. Just having fun, you know what I'm saying? So everybody, I'm not on YouTube streaming no more. I'm on Twitch. Shout out to bro. Let's get into it. Now look, today we got the top 10 hardest hitting safeties. Alright, now I ain't gonna lie, I'm gonna keep it, I can only name like 4 or 5 hard hitting safeties, bro. I'm gonna keep it 100. Well, we got Sean Taylor, we consider Troy Polamalu a hard hitting safety? I don't know. Brian Dawkins, obviously Ed Reed, Kam Chancellor, obviously. That's like 4 or 5, right? Yeah, so I'm not gonna lie. I don't know who I feel like it's gonna be I just started crazy. I feel like it's gonna be a lot of more people on this list. That's like people that we really don't even know about. So I ain't finna count. Let's get into it. I ain't about to grab your heads up, man. Hey, shout out my boy Bliss with the video. You know what I'm saying? Y'all go subscribe to my boy. And yeah, let's get into it. Y'all make sure you leave a like, subscribe, turn the notification button on, bro. And let's get into the video. Let's get into it.
Sure, interceptions are nice, and we all love a ball hawking safety, but nothing's quite like a safety.
But let me ask y'all, let me in the comments, let me know. Do y'all like a ball hawking safety, or do y'all like a hard hitting safety? I respect the hard hits, but hard hits nowadays you getting thrown out the game. So it's like, yeah, I'll take the ball hawk. I'll take the. Why is my thing so goddamn delayed? But I'll take the ball hawk.
Who isn't afraid to lay the boom. You know, the ones receivers fear when they're catching passes over the middle. The ones who just don't meet running backs in the hole, they blow them up. So, let's check out the players who fit that mold. These are the hardest hitting safeties in NFL history. And what better place to start than Baltimore, who's had more than their fair share of gridiron bullies over the years.
Come on, but go back. I gotta say this right. I'm sorry. This is my last pause. If Sean Taylor was still alive, he would have been the best safety of all time. Shout out to Brad.
And what better place to start than Baltimore, who's had more than their fair share of gridiron bullies over the years. But if we're talking safeties, none put fear in the hearts of quarterbacks and receivers quite like Ed Reed.
Which is the DB you hate playing against the most?
Ed Reed. Despite being just 5'11", 205 pounds, Reed hit like a freight train. Sometimes his ball hawking ability overshadowed the rest of his game. I mean, he did have 64 career interceptions, but when he wasn't picking off passes, he was decleating players.
Best safety in the NFL, man, right here.
Like in 2005, when Reed sent an unsuspecting Corin Robinson flying. And Reed's hitting ability was always on full display in the playoffs, like in the 2010 divisional round against the Steelers, when he stuck Rashard Mendenhall, stopping what looked like a sure touchdown. Or in the 2011 wildcard matchup with the Chiefs, when he leveled Dexter Cluster. Players had to be aware of where Ed Reed was at all times, because if they didn't, they'd end up like Julian Edelman, who called this the biggest hit he's ever taken. And fumbling around Reed was a death sentence because he was known for his ability to turn a turnover into a touchdown, like this ridiculous throwdown of Clinton Portis that ultimately led to a Ravens TD. But many remember Reed for one specific hit against the Indianapolis Colts. After not getting a face mask call, he took out his frustration on someone else. After 12 years in the NFL, Reed's hit list included some of the best names in ball. He retired a Super Bowl champion, Defensive Player of the Year, 2004, and became a first ballot Hall of Famer. And while our next safety may not be a Hall of Famer, he does have a Hall of Fame-worthy reputation. Rodney Harrison was a 5th-round pick by the San Diego Chargers in 1994, so he naturally had a chip on his shoulder coming into
so he's obviously just, I don't think he's ranking him because Rodney Harrison is not better than Ed Reed by a margin, respectfully. I ain't finna cap. So I think he just putting him, or is he? I don't know. Y'all let me know. Hopefully he not. Because Rodney Harrison damn sure ain't better than Ed Reed, so I ain't gonna care.
But when he finally became a starter in '96, he let the entire league feel his wrath. Harrison would go on to lead the Chargers in tackles in 3 of the next 7 seasons, quickly establishing himself as one of the NFL's great enforcers. He had no fear on the field, often playing through the whistle, and during his time in San Diego, he racked up over $200,000 in fines. But after the Bolts released him in 2002, he signed with the New England Patriots, and by cutting Harrison, the Chargers created a whole different monster. In his 6 seasons with the Pats, Harrison was voted the dirtiest player in the league 3 different times by his peers, and his hits back up that title. When it was all said and done, Harrison got 18 unnecessary roughness penalties, 7 personal fouls, 4 roughing the passer penalties, and 77 total penalties in the NFL. Anytime Harrison got the chance to hit someone, he took it, and quarterbacks weren't safe either. He was an elite pass rusher from the safety position, and his 30.5 sacks is still the most ever by a defensive back. Rodney Harrison was the heart and soul of a Patriots defense that won back-to-back Super Bowls. He was the ultimate player that you love when he's on your team, but can't stand him when he's not. The same can't be said about the next safety, because he's one of the most universally loved players in history. Of course, we're talking about Troy Polamalu, the NFL version of the Tasmanian Devil. Polamalu ran a 4.33 40-yard dash coming out of college. And
that is not Troy Polamalu.
The Tasmanian Devil.
That is not Troy Polamalu, or am I tripping? That can't be Troy Polamalu, right? That's not him. Bro, that's not him, actually. That's, Ufanga from the damn, he played for the Broncos now, but he used to play for 49. Yo, that's racist!
Polamalu ran a 4.33 40-yard dash coming out of college, and that speed allowed him to fly around the field and be a ferocious hitter.
Troy was just such a physical player that he was just like he was shot out of a cannon.
Once Polamalu found out where the ball was going, he was like a heat-seeking missile. And if the line was in his way, not to fear, he'd just go over it. He hit players so hard that they never forgot how it felt. In 2011, Polamalu flipped Andrew Hawkins, and he tweeted a video of it years later with simply saying, "Bully." Polamalu has a catalog of huge hits over his illustrious 12-year career. Guys like Stevie Johnson, Stephen Ridley, or this perfectly timed hit on Stephen Hill. No one played the game more freely than Troy Polamalu. It was hard to tell if he actually ever had an assignment or if his coach just told him, go make a play. But regardless, he came through every time. And because of that, he's a first ballot Hall of Famer, 2-time Super Bowl champ, and Defensive Player of the Year. But some safeties hit so hard, it made offenses completely change their plan of attack.
You can't even have a safety hit like that anymore.
John Lynch rocked the NFL for 15 seasons. The Hall of Famer stood at 6'2", 220 pounds, and received high praise from everyone who saw him hit.
Probably the guy that got the most out of his ability is John Lynch.
Lynch was drafted by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in 1993, but it was the introduction of Tony Dungy's Tampa 2 defense in 1996 that truly allowed Lynch to flourish, as he patrolled the middle of the field, punishing anyone who dared to catch a pass. Peyton Manning said any receiver going near the middle with number 47 in the area knew what he was getting into. He was always there. Lynch was such a precise tackler.
I'm not even trying to be funny, bro. Only real football players know this, bro. Being a safety, bro, and having number 47, oh my goodness, that is nasty. That is nasty work. Then his face mask was terrible. Then he ain't wearing no gloves. He clearly was. That ain't no ball hawk. That's hit hard hitting safety all around it.
That no one could escape it. Not even the most elusive player in NFL history, Barry Sanders, who said this collision was the hardest he'd ever been hit on a football field. Lynch even knocked his own brother-in-law out cold on the field. His wife Linda's brother, John Allred, was a tight end for the Bears when he felt the power Lynch hit with. Not even family was safe. And Lynch carried that intensity with him for his entire career. He became a Buccaneers all-time great in his 11 years with the team, winning a Super Bowl while also making 5 Pro Bowls and 2 All-Pro first teams. But then, in 2004, at age 33, he signed with the Denver Broncos. And you'd expect a drop-off for an older player who's played such a physical brand of football. But Lynch hit even harder, making 4 straight Pro Bowls with Denver to end his career. He finished with 1,277 tackles, 26 interceptions, and 16 forced fumbles. But Lynch will be remembered for how he hit.
If you wanted to come across, you had to pay a toll, get a pass, and get permission.
And paying a toll is exactly what any player on the same
ST!
field as Sean Taylor had to do. Even punters in the Pro Bowl. Taylor will forever be one of the biggest what-ifs in NFL history. And had his career not tragically been cut short, he could have potentially topped this list. But even in his short time in the league, he commanded respect from his peers because of the physicality he brought to the game.
All he kept telling me is, every time you catch the ball, I'm going to try.
At 6'2", 231 pounds, he was a beast in the secondary. Taylor was like a linebacker playing safety, and he may have been the most naturally gifted hitter to ever touch the field.
He just had that hip, that natural pop. Bam! You don't coach that, you don't teach that.
Right.
He's always had it.
It didn't matter who you were, Billy Parker, Reggie Brown, or even the great Terrell Owens. It also didn't matter the occasion.
Bro, I don't think y'all understand, bro, because me being from the DMV, obviously me being a Commanders fan, bro, like, bro, I don't think y'all realize, bro, that's how Sean Taylor meant to us, bro, like, and of course, bro, of course, man, just of course somebody had to take his life, bro. It's just like, man.
If there was grass in a pigskin, Sean T came to play. In the Pro Bowl, he had a chance to blow up Reggie Wayne coming over the middle, but pulled off.
And he told me, he said, you better be glad I love you.
And he meant it, because just a few plays later is when he absolutely leveled Brian Norman on a fake punt. In just 4 seasons, almost every player who played against Taylor said, had he not tragically passed away in 2007, he would have been one of the greatest safeties to ever do it. Now we enter the top 5. And let's kick it off with an iconic call for our next safety from Super Bowl 32.
That is.
Atwater just killed Randy Hilliard.
Steve Atwater was 6'3", 218 pounds, and one of the most feared safeties to ever play the game. Drafted 20th overall in the '89 NFL Draft, he brought immediate power and fear to the Broncos defense.
You want to talk about a dude that just is blatant disregard for his own well-being.
The smiling assassin did everything from level players so hard he had to help him up to pummel unlucky receivers in the open field. But there are 2 hits that truly showed the power Atwater possessed anytime he dropped his shoulder. Super Bowl 32. Brett Favre tosses the ball to Robert Brooks, and this unfolds. Steve Atwater sent not only Brooks, but his own teammate Randy Hilliard to the ground. All 3 players were forced out of the game because of it. But teammate Randy Hilliard, this unfolds. Steve Atwater sent not only Brooks, but his own.
Now, I ain't gonna lie, the Packers receiver, he probably, he got crunched. Now, that definitely hurt. Bruh hit his own teammate smack in the chest.
Teammate Randy Hilliard to the ground.
He knocked himself out. Look how he fall to the ground.
All 3 players were forced out of the game because of it. But Atwater's most iconic hit came against the Nigerian Nightmare. The 6'1", 253-pound Christian Okoye was a running back no player wanted to meet in the hole. Well, no player except Steve Atwater. The 2 freight trains collided at full speed, and only Atwater was left standing. The smiling assassin would go on to be an 8-time Pro Bowler, 2-time Super Bowl champ, and, of course, a Hall of Famer. But not many safeties have been known to knock linemen off their feet. But that's exactly what Bam Bam Cam did. Kam Chancellor was part of the Legion of Boom, one of the best secondaries in NFL history.
He's an intimidator, he's an aggressive ball player, and he plays by the rules.
He's a linebacker playing safety.
At 6'3", 225 pounds, he really was. Cam was a multi-sport athlete in high school in Virginia. But 2006 is when Cam started evolving into Bam Bam. Chancellor went to Virginia Tech, moving from quarterback to corner, then finally free safety. And he patterned his game after the best, Sean Taylor. In 2010, he was drafted by the Seattle Seahawks in the 5th round, and he was a force by just his 2nd year.
He can intimidate most offenses.
And Cam had a routine of knocking Cardinals off their feet. Not just tight end Todd Heath, but their offensive tackle too. Chancellor made 6'7", 310-pound tackle Eric Winston look non-existent. Everyone had to be ready. Santana Moss, Ontario Hardesty, Vernon Davis, multiple times, and even Megatron. In 2015, Chancellor punched the ball right out of Calvin Johnson's arms. And in 2016, this happened. But Bam Bam was even more dangerous in the postseason. From sending Demaryius Thomas into a daze in Super Bowl 48 to hitting Julian Edelman so hard that he still talks about it to this day.
So he zips it across the middle, and I clinched right before I hit it, and Cam hit me. and it like hit me hard.
Chancellor played 8 seasons in the NFL, all with Seattle. And despite being a Super Bowl champ, a 4-time Pro Bowler, and 2-time All-Pro safety, Chancellor will always be remembered for his unique blend of size and power at the safety position. And while all the safeties on this list were weapons in their own right,
Dawkins.
Only one ever earned the nickname. It was clear every time Brian Dawkins...
I'm not even trying to be funny, bro. I think, I'm going to keep it a buck. I think Brian Dawkins was off that. Yeah, I don't know if you... I don't know. Maybe you don't know what that means. But you going to figure out. He was off that. He was off that white girl, dog. I'm sorry. I just got to keep it a buck.
Weapon X came crawling out of the tunnel.
Come on, bro.
In for a war. The 6-foot, 210-pound beast was the most intense safety the game has ever seen. He didn't just hit hard, he flew. The man stopped the biggest and fastest players of his era, from Jerome Bettis to Michael Vick.
The guy left me seeing stars.
Dawkins wrecked anything in his path. And like any great safety, he hit even harder in the postseason. Like in the 2003 NFC Divisional Round on Vick, or this hit on Algie Crumpler during the 2004 NFC Championship game. Anytime Dawkins stepped on the field, he played like he was possessed.
He was like, Spikes, I'm gonna take his soul.
And despite having what was considered a smaller stature, Dawkins would become just one of 2 players in NFL history with over 35 interceptions and 35 forced fumbles. He ended his career as a 9-time Pro Bowler, 4-time first-team All-Pro, a Hall of Famer, and one of the most fun players to watch in the history of the game. But one player who was never fun to play against was Jack Tatum. Jack Tatum is one of the smaller safeties on this list, but one of the hardest hitters to ever play the game.
Jack Tatum's hit meant that you make a catch, you're gonna pay for it.
Standing at just 5'10",
oh my God.
He's on this list, but one of the hardest hitters to ever play the game.
Jack Tatum hit meant that you make a catch, you're gonna pay for it.
Standing at just 5'10", 200 pounds, Tatum had one hit so hard that he will be forever remembered for it, and not for good reasons. Born in North Carolina, he grew up in New Jersey, where he went on to become an All-American in high school. Tatum went to Ohio State, where he was recruited as a running back, but switched to DB. And it was clear he had found his calling, because everyone felt his wrath from there on out. Tatum was the National Defensive Player of the Year in 1970, and was drafted in 1971 by the Oakland Raiders with the 19th overall pick. That was when he officially became the Assassin. Jack Tatum was the Oakland Raiders defense. The NFL in the 70s was filled with some of the game's most feared players ever, but Tatum may have been the baddest man around.
The fiercest hitter at safety ever, and Jack Tatum, fiercest hitter in the game.
Assassin.
He didn't just hit to make the tackle, he hit to hurt.
I'm not only just hitter, he just did a no-look hit stick.
Just hit to make the tackle, he hit to hurt.
I'm not only just going to hit you, I'm going to make you regret that you ever played professional football.
Even one of the greatest power backs ever, Earl Campbell, couldn't get the better of Tatum. The lick I took from Jack Tatum, that's the only time I ever felt somebody hit me, Campbell said. A shock went down to the heels on my feet, and it burned. When I was standing on my head in my end zone, nobody knew this, but I was thinking something's wrong. But there were 2 specific plays that marked Tatum's career as an insane hitter. December 23rd, 1972, the Immaculate Reception. During the AFC Divisional Round game against the Steelers, Terry Bradshaw threw to John Fuqua, and Tatum drilled him. But the ball fell into the hands of Franco Harris, leading to one of the most famous plays in NFL history. But then, on August 12, 1978, everything changed after one big hit. Tatum hit Darryl Stingley so badly, he became a quadriplegic due to shattered vertebrae. Tatum didn't play much longer after that. He played one final season after being traded to the Houston Oilers in 1980, but will forever be remembered for that hit on Darryl Stingley, famously saying after the hit,
"People get hurt, nothing personal."
But not even Tatum could match the hitting prowess of Ronnie Lott, the hardest hitting safety in NFL history.
He wanted to hurt you. He wanted to hurt your family that was listening.
At 6'3", 203
Ronnie
pounds,
Lott,
he became
6'3".
the prototype for the safety position. Lott became a college football legend at USC. He was a national champ in 1978, a unanimous All-American in 1980, and then was drafted 8th overall by San Francisco in the '81 draft. But all it took was one bad game against Atlanta to make Ronnie Lott play with anger forever. And after getting destroyed by the Falcons in Week 3 of his rookie season, head coach Bill Walsh told the team,
"We're never going to get out hit again."
That was the standard Lott upheld for the rest of his career. They beat Atlanta the next time they played 17-14, and Lott was ejected for punching Alfred Jackson. But Lott also learned martial arts and Lott was ejected for punching Alfred Jackson. But Lott also learned martial arts and applied it to his NFL training. He read The Art of War by Sun Tzu, and like the general who wrote the book, Lott was a general on the field. It's hard to narrow down the hardest hits of Ronnie Lott's career because every hit he made looked like it would take the offensive player right to the ER. Lott played 10 seasons with the Niners, and his success as a safety is really unprecedented. 8 division titles, 4 Super Bowls, 10 Pro Bowls, and he even amputated his finger just so he could keep playing football. He would go on to become a Hall of Famer and will always be remembered as the hardest hitting safety ever. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this, stick with Blitz.
I ain't gonna lie, bruh. Hey, look, I thought Chantel was the hard-headed safety, but nah, I'm gonna go get at the Jason Tatum, whatever bro name is. Bro was catching bodies. I ain't finna. He was catching bodies. I ain't gonna lie. I ain't know who the hell that was. Let me keep it a buck. Hey man, shout out to Blitz with the good video. Maybe go back to the hardest hitting linebacker too. I don't know. Y'all let me know. Hey, hit that like button, comment, let me know y'all want me to react to that. I'll react to it. Shout out to bro. But look, man, hey, shout out to Blitz with the lit video band. I'm off, man. Hey, man, y'all make sure to like, share, subscribe to the notification button on, bro. And I'll see y'all next video.